Hi friends, are you someone who is very reluctant to publish content online? Or are you someone who's always thinking, if I publish content online, what are my friends gonna think? What are my relatives gonna think? What are my colleagues gonna be thinking and things like that? Then today's video is gonna be super useful for you because I'm gonna speak about lessons that I learned on how to overcome this fear. Let's get started. Hey folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Praveen Ramesh. I review non-fiction books every week and I also speak about lessons that I learned from these non-fiction books. I find it immensely useful. I hope you do too. So as I said at the start, today's video, we're going to be focusing about what people call the spotlight effect, right? So spotlight effect is where you feel that, always when you're on a stage, let's say you're on a huge stage or in front of a screen, there is a spotlight that's on you and the whole audience is looking at you. So that's what exactly happens when we are trying to produce content online, right? So most people that I have spoken to, the friends that I speak to who are extremely good subject matter experts, they are very reluctant to publish content online, right? So the reason they say is one, obviously they are not not ready to put the drill, which is something that they have to personally overcome. And number two, they always feel like, okay, what are my friends gonna say? What are my colleagues gonna say? What are my relatives gonna say? Hey, what is my college buddy gonna be saying if they watch my video, right? So these are thoughts I would say are not wrong to have, because personally when I started my journey of writing online, so I have a blog where I used to write every day. I still write there once in a while. I used to feel that way as well, right? So, and I still fight this perception whenever I produce a YouTube video. But today I'm going to speak about 2 or 3 things that have personally helped me by watching a lot of YouTube videos and taking tips from people who have been there, done that, and I am just a messenger of what I have learned from these people, right? So basically, if you think about it, why does spotlight effects happen, right? The spotlight effect happens because you are always thinking, hey, what is the world gonna think about me? Right? What I've realized of late, and to be very honest with you, is one, no one cares, right? Let's say if everyone was watching what I was doing on YouTube, I would probably having at least 100, 200 or 300 subscribers by now. At the point when I'm shooting this video, I think I have around 23 or 24 subscribers, right? So it really doesn't matter who watches or who doesn't watch my YouTube video, right? And second thing on why you shouldn't be caring about this is actually, let's say, what's the worst that can happen? And that's something that I am trying to, I thought when I started doing this YouTube video, the worst case is no one is going to watch my video. But that's the case anyway. So I might as well just produce the content that I think will add value to people and talk about things that I am learning in this process. Worst case, no one is going to watch. And that's going to be the case even if I don't publish. So I rather publish it, which is a positive reinforcement for me, right? So these are the 2 reasons that I feel why you should be trying and overcoming this spotlight effect. One, people actually don't care, right? Maybe they'll watch one video of yours, they'll ping and ask you, hey, I saw that you produced your video, here is a feedback, oh, this is very funny and things like that. But they're not going to do that for every video if you think about it. Are you doing that for every video that your friend produces? The answer could be probably no. And second thing is, the worst case scenario is optimized for. Anyways, no one is going to watch my video if I don't produce it. So I might as well produce it and ensure that, no one watches it in the worst case. But I hope you guys kind of watch this video, find it useful and things like that, right? So now on to how do you overcome this, right? So now I've spoken about from a mindset level of how you could overcome the spotlight effect. But how do you get started with creating this content, right? So I want you to kind of realize, for someone including me, right, the best of the creators that we know today, you have to realize that they've produced content for a ton of years, right? So when we start out, we always compare ourselves to people who have, who are at the pinnacle of their success, right? So be it from a blog perspective, YouTube perspective, or whatever, TikTok perspective and things like that. So what we don't realize is, hey, they've put in the work for 2, 3, 4, 5 years before reaching the stage that they are in. But as humans, we are tuned to think, okay, I've started doing YouTube videos today, so I need to have 1 million subscribers tomorrow. And I'm not gonna say no, I'm charged as guilty. I have been demotivated. In fact, that's one of the main reasons why I didn't produce videos for a long time, right? So one thing that I would say is, be consistent, right? So be extremely consistent with whatever you're trying to do, not caring about what the results are, and keep in mind that, all the creators that you're inspired by today started at 0. right? And then eventually they grew, eventually they became better, eventually they became the best at their trade, right? Whatever channel, whatever kind of content they are producing, eventually they became better. So one, try to stay consistent, and I am trying to personally do that by following a few productivity tips and hacks which I've linked somewhere here. So please try to stay consistent. Second thing, don't try to create new stuff, right? So the mistake that I personally did when I was writing or trying to write scripts was I was thinking, hey, you know what, I should always say something new, I should add a newer perspective, right? But what I have realized is I can borrow authority, right? So what do I do on this YouTube channel? I don't say anything new. Even what I'm delivering now is something that I've watched some of the YouTubers say again and again. Someone like an Ankur Warikoo who I follow, or an Ali Abdallah I follow, or a Thomas Frank that I follow, a lot of Matt D. Villay that I follow. These are people, they have said this multiple times, and I'm just trying to relay that to you, hoping that you find it useful. And other aspect of my YouTube channel is I review non-fiction books. So by default, I'm not saying anything new or anything creative, right? I'm just borrowing authority, and I'm just curating stuff from what people are saying. I'm not trying to do anything that's new here. So that's my second thing. If you're just getting started with your content creation journey, borrow authority, curate content, and that's the best way to get started. So you're not thinking much, you're just collecting the best pieces of information, best pieces of advice that you are seeing outside, and then just trying to present it in your own way. And the third thing is the fifth, what I call the fifth grader phenomenon, right? So I'm gonna narrate a personal experience that happened to me, right? So I am a marketer by profession. So I was speaking to someone who was a couple of years juniors to me, and I was just speaking about a small marketing concept around promotions, right? Around online promotions and Facebook ads. And she was pleasantly surprised, and she took notes from what I spoke, and then she went and implemented that. She got back to me saying, hey, how helpful this was to me, and how it helped her change the quarter in terms of the results that she was getting, right? So then I realized, what is very, very obvious to me might not be obvious to someone else. You might have something where, a very unique perspective to say about things that you are good at that might not be obvious to others. It could be around investing, it could be around aerospace engineering, it could be around rocket science, it could be around YouTube, or whatever it is, right? I'm sure you have something to say about something that is obvious to you, but that's not obvious to someone else, right? So what I call the fifth grader phenomenon, right? So teach something or do something or say something to your younger self. So what is it that you know today that wasn't obvious enough for you, let's say 5 years before, right? So I try and do that, right? So for me today, spotlight effect is something that I am trying to overcome after, struggling with this journey for 6 months. I wish I knew this 6 months back. But now, what am I doing? I'm just speaking about the same topic to you, ensuring that you find it useful. So what is very, very obvious to you might not be obvious to someone. So go ahead and put out that content, and I'm pretty sure in this whole wide world, someone is going to find it useful. So just to quickly iterate, why you shouldn't be worried about spotlight effect is for two reasons. One, actually no one cares. No one is looking to say, hey, I'm waiting for this person to put out a video so that I can go and criticize, or I can go and say something, or I can go and make fun. And two, worst case, no one is going to see your video. You might as well just produce that content so that you're 40, 60 or 70 years old, you can just have a look at these YouTube videos to say, hey, I've produced so much content, and you getting views or subscribers or good followers becomes just a byproduct. So those are two reasons. And how can you overcome them? One is the fifth grader phenomenon. Write or tell things for your younger self, or tell things that are obvious to you that might not be obvious to someone else. Try to borrow authority, which is, just taking stuff from books or taking stuff from your favorite creators and delivering your interpretation of that. And the third and the final one is try to stay consistent. Always remember that the creators that you see today put in 5, 10, 15 years of hard work before they got to the place that they are in today. So these three things always keep in mind, and, start your content journey today itself, and let me know what is obvious to you and teach me something. I would love to learn something from you. Until then, this is Praveen Ramesh signing off.